Hey everybody. I am starting thumbnails on Joe Death Chapter 6, and I wanted to show you guys my process. This is kind of the combination of those two earlier, shorter videos. One on is titled Writing and Drawing for the cartoonist and background design. So, and they're really simple black, white, and gray kind of drawings, sketches. And really, the thumbnails are those two things put together. And I'm going to have backgrounds, I'm going to have characters, and I'm going to treat them the same way with the lines, gray tone, and white and black. So let's jump in. This is my first layer, and actually this was the first attempt, and you can see it's nothing special. And this is the second attempt to the first page for the first of the chapter, and then this is the tracing over it, and I like this. There's a lot of things going on, but I want to make these good. I kind of have a final result, or I have an idea, at least a plan to kind of collect these small thumbnail drawings and maybe have a mini book at some point. But they are really helpful for executing the final page, so they're worth my time. But let me, and I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do pages 1 through 5, but I might just show you guys how I do page 1, just because I don't want to give away the story. But I'm going to speed up the video now, and I'll talk over it. So I hope you like watching what I'm doing here, drawing and later on coloring these thumbnails. But I am going to try to talk about a concept rather than just exposition of what I'm doing. There's a lot of content that I've already made that is that, so I don't want to repeat myself. I want to add to the conversation. And something that I've been thinking about recently is community or fellowship. And I think fellowship is a word that we all kind of know. It's in the public consciousness because of Peter Jackson's The Fellowship of the Ring, and from the book series The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. But I, for my own clarity, I actually looked up the definition of fellowship, and it's a friendly association, especially with people who share one's interests. I think that's important to note, that the shared interests of multiple people are kind of the bedrock foundation of a group of that particular group of people. Personally, I found fellowship around stories and comics and movies as one of the most rewarding aspects of my work, and I do consider it part of my work. I consider hours long conversations every week as part of my work. They're not tangential to my writing and my drawing. They're actually a significant part of concepting and developing ideas and themes and meaning behind what I'm drawing and what I'm writing. You can take my advice, but you can also look at examples like the Inklings, the group of Oxford professors, most notably Tolkien and C.S.Lewis, who had a group called, it was an informal discussion group in Oxford around the 50s and 60s, I believe, and also later on in America. And there's this thing called New Hollywood, or I think the New Wave, and it included George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, and quite a few other directors and actors. And in both of these instances, both different places, different people, you see a connection of people I would say an informal connection of people that cared a whole lot about stories and literature and writing, and also films and movies. And so I think that's proof that we know of Star Wars, we know of Steven Spielberg movies, and Narnia and Lord of the Rings. We know of these things, and I think that we look secondarily at groups of people, and quicker at maybe individuals, and I don't want to think for myself that these are created, these kind of popular content is created in a vacuum, but it's actually created by an individual who is deciding to be in fellowship with other creators. So the first kind of point I wanted to talk about with fellowship is that fellowships or community do not make up for your lack of work. In fact, you must be a consistent producer of good work to gain access to the group. You have to have something to offer the group. I would think about that and start to figure out a way in which to do that. I'm not sort of counseling people to be mean. I'm certainly not trying to be mean by accepting sort of the community of one person while rejecting the community of others. But I am saying that is probably important. A lot of times there will be opportunity to talk to some people at cons or on certainly on Instagram, and I think you should engage with as many people that want to talk to you. But there might be obvious things that are not going to help you progress in your career. And I certainly am too young to not be thinking about progressing in my career. So, if someone is approaching me and they're talking to me, I love that. I love talking to people. But if I notice that their drawing ability is subpar to a professional level, well, the conversation is really only going to go so far, because what they need to do is spend 5 to 7 years drawing well, just learning how to construct scenes, environments, and characters. And as a member of the kind of art community in the world, I do want to help people get further along in those individual endeavors. But they are individual endeavors. They are individual pursuits that person needs to spend just a significant amount of experience time, and then there's no shortcut for that. So I can create a video to help them. I can channel them to other professionals that have also created videos. But the discussion and the personal interaction with that younger artist is only going to be so helpful for either of us. I think that when you're thinking about who to kind of ask for kind of this professional fellowship, I suppose, I do still think it's informal. I'm not suggesting creating badges and wearing uniforms, though you can certainly do whatever you want. I am suggesting that you start to talk and start to look for other people around you that are producing work maybe at your level, and they want to get better at it, instead of I would say don't look for people that don't have a significant amount of work, and you can kind of tell that they're trying. I think these things are pretty obvious when you look on social media or at someone's page. If time is invested in that person's interest, so the interest has to be at the core of the fellowship. So there's a lot more to say about that. I think kind of tough love must exist, and do take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. Apply it to your own reality, and see what happens. But so I want to talk about kind of once you've assembled a group of people who have all consented to be in a fellowship, and just be part of something that involves criticism and also encouragement. That the clarity of encouragement and criticism can't be underestimated. If you think of everyone in that group, think of us as bricks, sort of hard objects that, when put together, it creates a substantial wall, and a substantial house, let's say. Mortar needs to exist between those bricks in order for it to work. Some sort of softer material must exist between hard bricks. And we're all people. We all have egos. We all have an idea of our own importance, and we all have a criticism in our minds about the other person's work, and maybe the other person's personal life too. These things are existing in our minds. So I want to kind of address that and say, you can't be. I think you can't. You have to try to be clear. You have to really try to be clear. I have to really try to be clear. And when I address someone's a work of my friend, of my fellowship mate, that their work might be a little subpar here, or it might not be working for me as a reader. I do think it's always a good thing to highlight the fact that the reason you're criticizing them, not them, but the reason you're criticizing the work, is because that you think that they can actually do better. So giving and receiving criticism is a gift, and I think it must be understood from the receiver of the criticism that the reason someone is criticizing you is because they actually think that you can do better. And isn't that encouraging in itself, that someone thinks that you actually have the ability to do better? I mean, that's really rewarding in my mind. Someone that is engaging with you on a criticism level is your partner in getting better, and you should offer them the respect that they deserve as someone who is giving criticism, and also return the favor by trying to be helpful and give them clarity when you're criticizing their work. And criticism, it does have a negative connotation, but when I'm using it, I'm thinking in very positive terms of you giving your perspective on someone else's work. So next point, I want to talk about sort of where and how you kind of find a fellowship, and this might precede kind of the previous point about your communication while in the fellowship, but so where you find these people, where do you find this group of people that you can have honest discussion with, and man, I mean, like it's an open world now. You can find people everywhere, and I have from different continents, different nations, different states in the United States, and so I do want to stress being open to certain relationships that were not in your kind of mind when you first set out to sort of make a fellowship. So I think we can have this kind of false narrative in our minds that says, well, I'm interested in stories, I'm interested in visual media, so I have to, the people I want to be talking to are in LA. They're in animation industry. They're there and they're doing great work. I want to be talking to those people, or even pining for the old days, like thinking about the atmosphere of Oxford and academia. And you think and you sort of try to emulate this literary society that's based in Oxford. You're wearing probably tweed coats and you're smoking pipes. Forget it. I mean, I'm in South Carolina. I'm surrounded by everyone that does not fit that description, and potentially you are too if you're here on YouTube. You could be anywhere. So I would stress sort of looking at your local environment, and again, this can be your local environment on Instagram, on social media. It's the people that you see that are working, that have work, and are doing good work, and could potentially benefit by talking to you on a weekly or bi-monthly, whatever it is, but entering into a sort of a discussion group with you about this particular interest that you both share. Check yourself when you're looking at people. If you're looking at someone who's very good and just churning out lots of work, and they don't look like they need too much help, or at least try to read the signs. Like if someone's just doing very good, very good work, you can reach out to them, but kind of have it in your mind as a default that they're probably okay without a discussion group with you. It's kind of the hard truth, but I sort of have learned this as well, that you don't know. I mean, you could consider someone who's doing very good work, but they're also looking for a group. So try to get who your top people in the group, or even on just a one-on-one fellowship. But hold that with a grain of salt, and don't feel bad if they don't have time for you. I want to talk about leaving your ego behind. I think this is crucial when you're entering into a one-on-one conversation or a group. And I'm talking about fellowships, but really I do mostly do one-on-one conversations with people that I just have grown to respect their opinion on. So I'm sort of thinking about this as a small group of people, but the Inklings, I think, had 15 regular attenders and 23 total members. So it's up to basically the pieces the pieces of the fellowship, those bricks that can form the house. But I think leaving your ego at the door, and your ego is your person's sense of self-esteem and self-importance. If you're in the group, if you're talking to someone, you're already in the fellowship. So trust that your fellows respect you. Don't always try to keep trying to be the smart one, or trying to just make sure that people understand that the points that you said were your points, and you deserve credit for those points that you said. Forget all that crap. It's a group of people that are concentrating on the work. So don't insert yourself as someone that should be necessarily well respected. Consider the work. Talk about the work, and separate yourself from the work. What you have done and created, you're assenting to that it could be better if you're joining a fellowship. So really, lean against that idea that you're there to make your own work better, and accept what's given to you in that group. And with thanks. And I think try it out. Just go lightly with other people, and try to be clear. and positive with other people, but don't hold back when you do need to say something that you're honestly thinking. So, this is pretty rambly, but I hope this has been helpful. And please leave any comments that you have below this video. And let me know what you guys think. I've tried sort of fellowship with certain people, and it has just blown up in my face. So this stuff, again, just like work, it takes time, it takes effort, and it's not just going to happen all at once. So keep trying to live in community with people. I think that's really important, especially in these times. But thanks for listening. Before I go, I did want to mention that the book Bandersnatch by Diana Pavlock Glyer is a really interesting, good read if you're interested in topics like this, fellowship and community, and also how that interacts with creativity. Check it out. Go to Amazon and look for this book. I highly recommend it. I listen to it on audiobook probably once a year or something, but it's a really fantastic listen.